Hey guys, Davey Wavy here. So look, I know that there is a lot going on in the world and that all of those things are more important than my hair. But I also know, especially as someone who lives in Palm Springs, that the aging process is a struggle for a lot of gay men. It's real for me. And I also, one of the things that I love about our community, excuse me, I have a burp coming out, is our ability to talk about things that are difficult and challenging and vulnerable. So what I will say, first off, is that there's certain things that kind of become a currency in the gay world. That, like, if you have them, you have power, you can get what you want. And I think one of those things would be like big muscles, a big dick, masculinity, wealth, fame, I think is a currency in a way. But one of the currencies that a lot of us experience is youth. If you have youth, you can get things that you want, it's desirable. It's also fleeting, which I think is part of what makes it so valuable. But when it comes to the currency of youth, really all of us are on a journey inevitably towards bankruptcy. Like, bitch, we're all getting old. I'm getting old, you're getting old, everyone's getting old. So it's something that we can kind of feel like slipping through our fingers in a very real way. This power that we once had that we no longer have. And I think because of that, like, a lot of gay men try to cling to it. I've heard it called like the Peter Pan syndrome, right? That there's certain things we try to do to hold on to it for as long as possible. I'm kind of at this like unique age. I'm 37, so I'm like too old to be young, but too young to be old. I'm kind of like in between. And I'm at this point where I'm starting to notice the ways that my body is starting to change. And for me, I think the change that's been the most, that's really thrown me off the most is my hair changing. That my hair is starting to get salt and pepper on the sides. And this has been happening for a few years. So my initial reaction was like, oh my God, these grays are coming in. And so I just started dyeing the sides of my hair. It made it the same color on the sides as it is on the top. So it's just brown. And this can work for a little while, but then before you know it, you're like 50 or 60 and it looks like your fucking head is covered in shoe polish. And if you want to gray gracefully, then really the only way to do that is to let it happen naturally. So this has been something that's on my mind, and we talked about it on Himmerose Live, which is my weekly podcast. And what I said was, and I think this is like, you know how we all have those like talking points? Like you order something on Amazon that you don't really need and you're like, I deserve it. Well, and it's like, bitch, okay, sure, but like really you're also putting yourself in credit card debt. Anyway, my talking point for dyeing my hair has been, well, I just don't picture myself as a man with salt and pepper hair. And Finn Dearhart, my co-host, was like, well, you are a man with salt and pepper hair. So you can like run from that reality, you know, and dye your hair for the rest of your life every 2 weeks and flush your head with chemicals and spend, you know, however much money, and try to emotionally avoid the reality of you getting older. Or like you can integrate it, like you can be uncomfortable about it and process it. And Finn, who's 40, was like, look, like my body has also changed in certain ways, but I know in those instances where I've leaned into it rather than run from it, I've always left the situation feeling better and more empowered. So that was his advice. And I think the other layer for me is just like, as a older guy that generally dates younger guys, I think especially among men like myself, there's a tendency to want to present as young as possible. And I once had because you want to attract like as many young people as possible, and there was a boy that once said to me, look, like the kind of boy that you want is not going to be into you because you're 37 and look 25. He's going to be into you because you're 37 and confidently so. So, having said all of that, I have made the decision to stop dyeing my hair. It's been about a month. So this is it. You can see it on the sides. You can see the salt and pepper. Maybe it's a little hard to see in this light, but I'm no longer dyeing my hair. And I know that people will comment about it inevitably, but I also know when people comment about stuff like that, it's because they're also aging and struggling with some of the same things, and that's why they notice it. So I'm not too caught up about that. I'm also not saying like I'm never gonna dye my hair. At least this is where I'm at right now. I'm also not saying that I'm going to be completely zen about all the other changes that I will be experiencing with my body in the years ahead. Like when my fucking tits start to sag, for example. But I think no hair dye is a great New Year's resolution for 2021. So that is what I am committing to. Also, speaking of the end of the year, now is our biggest, it's our year-end blowout on himroast.tv, which is the biggest sale of the year. You can get 12 months of himroast.tv for just $8.25 per month, which is a 45% discount. This only happens once a year. It is our biggest membership sale. If you want to join, you have to go to himroast.tv/pleasure. And it's a great opportunity to join a community of like-minded men who are really on this journey of sexual exploration and discovery, and you get instant access to hundreds of erotic videos, hundreds of hours of conversations. It's a really amazing experience. It's been the most purposeful experience of my life, launching himroast.tv. So consider yourself invited, himroast.tv/pleasure. Anyway, in the comments below, I would love to hear about your own struggles with aging, some of the things that you have learned, some of the things that you're still dealing with. I don't think we all have to have everything figured out. I certainly don't, but I would love to hear where you are at in your journey. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, more to come.